Welcome, welcome, welcome to another exciting time together with Life Imagined. I'm Brian Christian. I'm your host. Most of you all know me. I'm really excited today. I wanted to take some time to give some correctives for the collective. Again, these correctives are not Christian-based correctives, which would be condemnations, not correctives. These are enlightenments that I believe are going to help us as we journey through, and also some observations, especially for those that have come out of religion, and specifically the mainstream religion, Christianity. You've deconstructed, you've deprogrammed a lot of the propaganda Rome put in there, and you've come out. You've even come out of the commercialized religious ploy of full inclusion, and you've crossed over and out of that trap as well. Let me just kind of read you what I put in the description here so you kind of understand where we're going to be going in this particular broadcast. So, as we've gone through many extremes in the past few years, we will now be coming full circle into some balance. On this broadcast, we're going to talk about a redefining of love, authenticity, accountability, and much, much more. How do we transition from talking about consciousness to applying it in relationships? At this point within the collective, there is a revamping of what has been known, as well as letting go of religious superstitions that have kept the collective living in a state of forgetfulness. And of course, you can visit our website at www.lifeimagine.live or subscribe to our Patreon page at patreon.com/lifeimagined. Okay. The reason I'm on here sharing this today is because I really think that there are aspects of us that we think we are awake and we are actually still chasing our own tail. Some of our consciousness is not real consciousness yet, but we're on our way. The avatar version of us, or the egoic side of us, is always wanting to justify remaining where we're at. We've arrived, we've made it. And in a sense of who we are fully complete. There is no place to arrive in what we are, who we are, but in the experience of us experiencing ourself in the form of mankind. It's going to be a never-ending experience, or shall I say, it might transition from a mankind view to an alien view, to a starseed view. Doesn't really matter. It's all stacked simulations that we are experiencing anyway. Okay. But what I want to talk about is, many of us that have come out of Christianity, we're looking back at it and we're going, wow, look at how many people have left. We know that the church is toppling, that Christianity will probably be unheard of in the next 50 years. It'll be very similar to the world religion of the day back in, the times of Rome, and how Greek mythology was believed to be the religion of the day. This is life, this is reality. And today we see it as a dead mythological religion that was just a phase we were all going through. Okay. Well, Christianity is a phase we're going through as well. But for those of you that are coming out of it and are looking back and seeing the demise of it and how it's just falling apart and losing all of its momentum, and guess who received many of us with open arms when we didn't have language, but we still believed there was something spiritual going on, but we weren't too sure because of the scam of Christianity. We ventured into metaphysical, or some would call it New Age, okay? But have you noticed that when we ventured into there, because we had had all those years of being duped in religion and waking up and seeing the scam, we could see clearly where the metaphysical and the New Agers were also being scammed in certain areas. And the 3D model of reincarnation and past lives and all of that is now being done away with by a lot of the newbies that were steeped in Christianity, religion, persecuting the New Age and the metaphysical, is now being received by the New Age and the metaphysical, just to terraform even their perspective on spirituality, terraform it from the inside out. So there's a lot going on right now. So the New Age and the metaphysical community, as it has been known, is also deconstructing, as a lot of these newbies that haven't even been in the metaphysical or New Age very long, that are kind of breaking free from religion, are coming in and now, in a sense, becoming the new teachers, saying, hey, no, we don't have a past life back here, and we're not going somewhere and coming back. No, that wouldn't make any sense. There is no time, space, or matter. We are a multiversal self, and we are the matrix, and we are experiencing ourselves from every possible angle, all in the now. I got a moth in here. Great. It's moth season in Colorado. For those of you that live in Colorado, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so we're no longer having a past life and coming back. We're realizing that everybody in our life is our incarnation, that we're seeing a now present tense place of every life lived coming into a reconciliation, or the mind of the divine becoming aware of itself, finishing the great experiment of duality, and now kind of reconciling with itself. And that's why a lot of the relationships in your life that are either being removed or added are what? They're based in either parts of you that you created, a shadow version of you that's being deleted from the matrix, or a part of you that has been living simultaneously that is now being reconciled to the matrix. Okay. And so we have this going on here. Another aspect, I want to make sure I wrote down what I put in the comments so I could stay on point, is, love. One of the things about love, some of you might not like what I'm about to say, but the oneness love movement, we'll call it, everything that's being emphasized is, oh, it was all love, it's all one, and from a singularity, as a singularity, the singularity is love, is one. But there are things going on in the matrix that are not love and one. And some would say, well, bro, that's just duality. We're not to focus on that. We're to keep it all love. And, hey, let's just ignore these rapists over here. It's all love. We can go extreme, and we can actually be operated in a twisted, perverted version of love that's egoic, to turn a blind eye and have this type of denial that's going on in the world around us. See, yes, we came here to experience all things for the sake of experiencing them. We came to gather all data of every possibility, but we also came to learn lessons. Learning lessons mean that I do not abuse others or receive abuse and then just call it unconditional love and oneness and turn a blind eye. No, I come in with authenticity, because here's the key here. We've got a lot of love and oneness that is also avoiding facing certain injustices. And I'm not saying to face these things out of our own trigger. I'm saying, in the absence of a trigger, let's now reveal exampled love with authenticity of how to not repeat the same old bullshit over and over again, by learning from our mistakes, by learning how to honor, by learning integrity, by learning these things. So we can talk and talk and talk and talk all about consciousness, all about the ethereal, all about frequencies. But if we are not applying these things in practical application, well, it's all bullshit. And it doesn't mean squat at that level. I saw this little comic strip picture of two lines. It was two tellers and two lines. One line had a whole bunch of people, and the other line had nobody. And the line that had all the people, above it had a sign that said "talking about consciousness," and the teller next to it, over them, had a sign that said living consciousness, and there was nobody in that line. Okay, so I understand the ego has to come to the end of its need for information, so we've got to talk about it and talk about it until we're blue in the face, until we actually start living it. Okay, I understand that it's going to have to be that way. Okay, I understand that, but are we going to cross over? Okay, how is it that we're going to cross over? Are we going to deal with our shadows, with our karma? And how do we deal with our karma? And this is what's going to bring me to the reevaluation of the difference between love and authenticity. Because while love and authenticity go together, you can have love without authenticity. And this is why people are drawn to religion. They're drawn to a level of feeling acceptance because they've never had it. Therefore, now they're feeling a level of love, and they're feeling exclusive and chosen and special because they've now been brainwashed into believing they're entitled and they're the us, not the them. And, and they're above, not beneath, and the head and not the tail. And so this sense of feeling special, this is why I don't believe in a lot of what's taught on the empath out there, because the empath is just another term we have grabbed hold of to feel special in our trauma, to not have to face our trauma. Do you know when you feel special and you can put a title and not have to face that pain, you actually release hormones and chemicals in your brain that make you feel authentic, but you're actually lying to yourself. And at a subconscious level, you're believing the lie of the opposite of what you're trying to proclaim through the hormones consciously. And you actually begin to operate in opposite frequencies. So the whole point is to have a heart mind cohesion where it's operating at the same level. But when you are consciously claiming something and denying it at a subconscious level, you'll release a hormone and a chemical that will increase your body's superiority over the mind to now become addicted to those chemicals that keep releasing out of avoidance. And it will give the illusion of authenticity and freedom. So in other words, if you have shame in your life, because maybe you had some relationships in your life that were there trying to help you get through some trauma, but you were in denial of it because you didn't want to face it. So you kind of split and left your friends hanging and pushed them away. And then maybe a few years later, you realize, oh man, you don't realize that's what you did, but you do realize another level in which you've been faking it and pretending to be something you're not. Okay. And you start to wake up from it, and shame starts to come up because it's trying to say, hey, you need to go back to your friends and you need to say, hey, I need to be accountable and be truly authentic. But because you fed these hormones that have kind of mimic authenticity, but have really made you even more steeped in a self-deception, you probably will not go and be authentic with your friend. What you will do is go and tell them how much you appreciated all that they've done for you. You will praise them, you will build them up, and and you'll tell them, hey, I just want to appreciate you for all that you've done. Now, what does that make you feel like? To not really own up, but to appreciate what somebody has done. It gives you the sense that you've had a level of closure without actually facing the real issue, and you've pretended to be authentic. So you're going to get the hormones that bury that shame even more, which is going to take a more of a situation around you externally to now shake you at a deeper level to get you to actually wake up into authenticity. So we are going to begin to see a redefining of this, okay? Amongst those that are waking up, and you're no longer going to go and compliment those you betrayed, and just to feel confident in the fact that you're being authentic and you're free. You're actually going to go and you're going to say, look, that was wrong of me to treat you like shit. I was actually treating myself that way by treating you that way. I've now woke up to the fact that I've been just using people to keep my crackhead chemicals flowing, so that I don't have to face myself at this deeper level. And I am now facing that. I am bringing my body subject to my brain and my brain subject to my mind. And I'm no longer going to let my body suck my brain dry of these chemicals at your expense. And I'm going to be truly authentic. You see, this is where we are headed, right? And this is the place we're going. Oh, hey, Danielle, I just saw you in there. Love ya. And so we are learning to come to one another, to exchange with one another, to not just feel the shame and react, but we are facing our shame. We are starting to look at the parts of us that have been lying to ourselves, lying to one another. And here's the thing, we're letting go of the fear of whether we're offensive or not. We're letting go of the fear, because here's the thing, once you understand how you're wired, as an adult to an adult, you can't actually offend anybody. All your offenses is the first 7 years of your life, where you built your whole foundation of belief about yourself, and you've just been adding on top of that a bunch of other stuff throughout your life. So anything, and I'm not saying we should be rude to one another, we should be truly authentic. But here's the thing, authenticity is not you having arrived in the absence of triggers. Can I just say that? Authenticity has to do with you fully receiving you right where you're at right now, even if you've got a bunch of issues that you don't like about yourself, but you're choosing to love you anyway, without questioning, without trying to fix yourself. You're just embracing you, okay? That authenticity right there. Let's say you got tons of issues, man. Maybe you got codependency, maybe you got addiction, and maybe the person next to you doesn't have any of those addictive behaviors, any of those. They don't, on the outside, they look like they're more whole than you, but they can't be honest with themselves. And even though they know how to love, they know how to present it, and they can even set people free with their love, but they are not honest with themselves. You, with all your crap that you're dragging behind you, and yet you're being truly real with yourself, you are vibrating 4 times higher than the one who looks like they have it all together and are even looking like they're making more of a difference outwardly. Okay? So I want you to realize that, okay? Realize that. See, we have our emotions, we have our beliefs, but we have chemicals. And we've been taught, obviously wrong, for the sake of the few that wanted to control us, make money off of us, and use us as slaves to their way of what the world should be, taught us that chemicals we should take personally, and we should slap on some personal emotions and some belief systems, and from that we begin to run our lives based on those chemicals. And what happens is the body begins to get addicted to the chemicals it's receiving, and eventually begins to become the master of the brain. Now remember, you have a mind and you have a brain. Your mind is the seat of your personality, the avatar, the egoic, that is also bridged to the higher self, that is receiving information and transformation to wake up the avatar to begin to animate the matrix with the higher self frequencies of love and oneness and beauty and all of these things, okay? All right. But your avatar mind, if it is looped in and thinks it is what it thinks and it is what it feels, then it is already a prisoner of the brain that is a prisoner of the body. And the body is now dictating how you live your life and how you react and respond, and has different hormones it desires. Do you know that if you are angry and uh, uh, and you're angry on a regular basis, do you know that eventually you don't even in your mind get to choose when you're angry? Do you know that your body, your cells will actually mutate and become addicted to whatever emotions you've been feeding them over a period of time? And eventually, at a body level, your body will begin to send signals to your brain subliminally to get you to sabotage yourself, so that there can be a release of anger to feed those cells that are actually desiring it at a biological level. So we become addicted to emotions, and that is one of our deepest addictions, okay? I have a whole video on this. I'm going to be doing this in this shift series that you can get in our Patreon group if you subscribe. Okay. So we've left out chemicals. And so what we've done is this is what we do. We're not aware of this addiction at a bodily level that's running the brain. Okay. And so what we do is when we don't get a text from that one person that we feel so connected to, okay, what happens? Well, all of a sudden that part of us that is now that crackhead part of our body that is desiring its chemicals starts to freak out. And so what is the dialogue that it has made the brain tell itself as kind of a cover story? Oh, well, I wonder if this person is mad at me. Well, did I do something wrong? Well, I hope this person, you see how they go hand in hand. The inferiority is feeding. Okay, but this chemical here, this is a chemical we don't want to feel. We don't want to feel that inferiority chemical that's being released. Okay. So what do? Well, we reach out and we try to call them. We try to get them. We pray, God, have them call. We try to use any kind of sorcery and witchcraft we can to try to manipulate. Why? Because really, it's not about the relationship. It's about you getting your next fix. Okay. And so what happens when they don't call? That hormone begins to release. And underneath that hormone is a belief that we've built, because when we felt that hormone in the first place, we wrapped around it a belief system that we were programmed into believing by our parents. Okay. And so we now wrap around a belief and we say, oh, wow, we don't want to feel this. We want to feel accepted and loved. So now we've got to get this person to call us so we can release these other chemicals in our brain so that we can feel better. The problem with that is all we are doing is taking uppers and downers. If you remember back in the 70s and 80s, they called them uppers and downers. That's what Elvis Presley died of. He took speed to wake him up, and he took sleeping pills to put him to sleep. And eventually you're up, you're down, you have two different levels of frequency moving within you. And this is true. If you put opposing frequencies together, they cancel each other out. Okay. In a sense, their manifestation is to cease to exist together. Okay. While if you put two frequencies that flow together, they actually magnify and create, and energy begins to expand. And this is why when you're with people that complement the true version of you, you begin to expand. You begin to get stronger and more powerful. You begin to experience breakthrough. And when you're around people that are moving in the opposite of you, you cancel each other out. You get weaker. You steal from each other. This not only happens at a frequency level, but it happens at a chemical level. Okay, so I think that if we can kind of grab hold of what is transpiring right now as we are working through our shadow work, we're not only working through it, but we're also getting to the heart of our shadow, which is chemicals. Okay, so we've now turned chemicals into feelings, and we've walked carefully on each other's feelings, not to offend each other. But what we've done is we've pretty much stuck an emotional syringe into each other's arms so that we can help each other get the dope that they need to keep that addiction going. Okay, it's a sad thing, but we're going to see a lot of keys opening up in this season for the collective in this area. And so this is a corrective for the collective to quit trying to feed what you think you need to feel to keep your chemical addiction moving. Instead, sit with what you feel. Sit with it. You don't even have to say anything. Sit with it. Sit with what you feel until you realize that feeling can't hurt you. Do you know why we think that our feelings are going to destroy us? Because we won't sit with them long enough to realize they're powerless. Okay, that it's not who we are. What we do is we glance at it and we go, oh yeah, I don't want to feel that, and we go and try and feel something else, or we claim our way out of it, pray our way out of it, meditate our way out of it. Quit meditating your way out of what you feel and meditate your way into what you feel. And just embrace it. You're going to realize there's nothing to fear. Fear And by the way, the next corrective for the collective is to remove the concept of negative emotions. That's also in the new shift training. To let go of what we would label negative emotions. Shame is not there to make you ashamed. Shame is there to reveal where you have accepted a lie of shame about yourself. And it is there to give you a consequence to say, you're going to feel terrible if you continue to believe that you're ashamed. Fear is there to show you where you're out of alignment with your true identity and have shrunk back and grabbed hold of some facade of what you're not. Depression is there to show you where you have resisted embracing yourself and loving yourself in a certain area. And it is there to give you a consequence to say, hey, aren't you glad that you wired this dimension as your higher self with all of these consequences so that you safeguard your journey in truly waking up? Okay. So the moment you realize there's nothing to fix in you, that you are simply deprogramming the lie of brokenness, and that you no longer need to protect yourself by feel-good hormones. Now, again, once you're free from the trigger, you can experiment with your hormones. I'm going to throw that in there. You can actually at will shift your brain chemistry to line up, okay? Now, this is just the beginning that's going to lead to what? Our ability to shift from particle to wave. So this is the beginning of that, because we are actually in wave form, but we're experiencing in the matrix particle form, okay? And so particle is based on the fact that you are aware that you are human. You're aware of an avatar character that you are playing as God in the movie called Earth, okay? And you're aware of this. And so that awareness from an avatar perspective has shifted your ability to perceive wave, and you are now operating as particle. And within the laws of the matrix of particle experience is time, space with matter, okay? So we're experiencing this so that we can experience every angle. But the moment you get tied up in this experience as your ultimate reality is the moment you begin to use chemicals to avoid this and that, and then building chemicals into beliefs and emotions, okay? This is the emotional realm, the 3D realm, the place where you come to feel, right? It's a pretty deep place. So we're going to see some changes like this. I think, okay, what else did I say on here? I know I'm forgetting something. So a revamping of what has been known, as well as letting go of religious superstitions. Now, the religious superstitions, I'm not talking about coming out of a religion or Christianity. I'm talking about once we've stepped into the metaphysical, and even some of you into the new age, we're transforming their realm, because they have been stuck in some religious superstitions when it comes to trying to explain spirituality in time, space, and matter as the ultimate guide. For instance, reincarnation. You're not going somewhere and coming back. There is no time, space, or matter. So we're now starting to see reincarnation from a higher consciousness, from maybe 5D or what have you, or 9D, where we're realizing, oh, wait a second here. It's all happening in the now. It's all a multiversal self. The same thing with astral projection. We're going to begin to see a whole new flow of what that is, because people today in the metaphysical and new age say, well, I'm leaving my body. Have you ever left your body? Well, unfortunately, we're kind of bound to language right now at a certain level. So we're limited. Well, I don't actually have a body, but I am experiencing a body. So yes, you're going to find that the key to astral projection, to be able to leave easier and break through astral projection, is coming out of the concept of having a body. When you come out of the concept of having a body, you're instantly manifesting astral projection. Okay? When you come out of the concept of needing to go somewhere to enter my past life and get some past life regression understanding, and I realize it's all happening now, guess what I enter into? I enter into everybody in my life being the incarnation of all my past lives. And now I'm able to reconcile in the third dimensional experience all incarnations. So you see, we are upgrading, we are updating, and we are terraforming from the inside out a revolution that is happening on all sides. So if you think the metaphysical people, the psychics, the new agers are sitting there going, finally, it's our turn for a revival, and those stinking Christians finally got what they deserved, realize that Christianity is crumbling, the metaphysical and the new age is crumbling, and there is a hybrid manifestation of a new defining, a new understanding, a new expression of what we are and what we are here to manifest. Okay, so it is coming into a new place. These are things I've been getting lately. Another thing that I want to bring that I didn't put on the description, and then I'll let you guys go, is channeling. Channeling is going to take on channeling is also going to take on a whole new aspect. While channeling has been focused, again, with a little bit of a Hollywood tinge to it of, I'm channeling Jesus, I'm channeling Michael, I'm channeling this being, I'm channeling Bashar, I'm channeling this. Well, on a higher level of understanding, you're channeling you because there's only you experiencing yourself as everyone and everything at every level. So why do we need to put a name on our channel is only because of the audience that we are looking at. Either the person channeling feels like, well, the audience isn't ready yet, and that could be wisdom, to actually be able to believe that we're all one, so I have to still come in this separate entity talking through me, otherwise I'm not believed or received. Very similar to Christianity with who you're ordained under, who you're connected with, who your spiritual father is or was, okay? Because if you had an unknown, you're not as anointed as the one who is known, okay? So we have that similar, sickness, plague trying to sneak in over in channeling, okay? Why not just channel? Why not just flow? Are we going to get to the point where we believe in equality? Are we going to get to the point where we actually believe we're all connected? Or are we still going to say we are, but channel separatism, all in the name of making sure we have the crowd's attention? I think we need to bleed off of that and come off of that addiction of chemical behavior, okay? And come into a place in which we no longer need to have special titles, special names, special giftings, but we can just all be special as one and in our togetherness. So I've been channeling with half of this video, okay? And so I channel, most of my videos are spontaneous and I channel them. But do I sit and say, hey, I just channeled several Pleiadians, or Arcturians? Sometimes I will bring that up at the end of the matter to just show somebody that, hey, did you recognize I was channeling it the whole time without telling you who was coming through? Because it's all you, all right? So we don't need a special name through a special person in a special place to be heard. In fact, the more we promote the need for that, even if our audience is in that place, the more we are going to be unauthentic and the less we are going to vibrate, okay? We're not going to vibrate at that higher level, all right? So we need to start shifting into authenticity. Authenticity, self-honesty recognizes where it's chemically dependent and begins to correct that. It also is honest with not being a yes man or a yes woman with everybody that comes into their circle. If you are still needing the approval of others, it's best to just sit down for now Don't be out there trying to lead if you still think you need everybody's approval, and you can only meet them where they're at. I know we've had that rule. What if you just start being authentic? Yes, you're probably going to lose half of the people, if not more. But guess what you're going to gain? You're going to gain quality relationally with people, and then you're only going to draw authenticity. But as long as you're trying to think you're saving the people by meeting them where they're at and keeping them in their lives and keeping them chemically dependent, think again, you're not loving them. You're actually you're exampling something else, but it isn't love. Okay, so let's actually example love. Let's quit the bullshit. Oh, I hurt your feelings. Well, great. If I hurt your feelings, maybe you'll realize how chemically dependent you are on lying to yourself. Okay, my objective is not to hurt you. Believe me, you just simply be authentic towards yourself, and you let that ooze out and magnify. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a lot of people that are offended, because your authenticity is going to expose where they haven't been authentic. Okay, it's just the way it is. Who cares? You ain't hurting the person. You're simply helping them to look at themselves and begin to heal. Okay, begin to come into at least an understanding that wholeness is who they are. Okay, so I might come off as an ass. I don't mean to. I might even come off as being judgmental, and I'm not judging the person. To be perfectly honest, the reason I'm doing this video is because I believe everybody that I am experiencing out there is me and my subconscious, and I'm going to bring my thoughts captive to the obedience of a Christ consciousness by simply saying, hey, me as you, let's stop chemically inducing ourselves, twisting ourselves, and pretending, and keep kicking our own ass this way. And let's stop manipulating and gaslighting ourselves by the way in which we perceive one another and respond. I truly believe that the collective is ready for this. We're ready to come in to a whole new place of what it means to be real, to have real relationship, and to stick around with one another. Here's the thing: when you're done feeding those chemicals, you'll stick around. This is something that I'm going to be authentic in, and this is not towards any one person, because everybody's my subconscious, so it's toward me. And that is, I don't need everybody to come and praise me and tell, even though I appreciate it, don't get me wrong. We all, I think, need to be encouraged and affirmed, but I don't need everybody to come and tell me, Brian, we're all here because of you, or because of you, this happened, or because of you. No, what I need is a face-to-face with you. What I need is time with you. What I need is just to be able to be with you and not have to do anything for you to stick around. I don't know how many times this has happened in my Christianity, but it's like, I love you too, Mindy, by the way. I love you. I love all you guys on here. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you, Charlotte. And so it's kind of crazy because, in my experience, we traveled all over. And I'm not going to say that everybody we connected with did this to us. Obviously, they didn't. We still have some good friends out there. But we traveled all over. And it was like, and we connected a lot of people. But nobody's ever really come. I mean, we've had a few people come and visit us. We want to be with people. We can't. Why can't we? And I'm just going to be fucking honest. Why can't we? Because we had to stop and take on jobs because people couldn't support us. They couldn't support us. Maybe they were broke. But I think with 10,000 people at that time on Facebook and another 10,000 followers, and that was on 2 separate Facebooks, you would think that people could afford $1, and we could have continued to do what we were doing. But we had to pull aside. Maybe it was divinely set up. I don't know. We had to pull aside. We had to sit here. but it seemed like when I had something to give that helped keep everybody's chemicals in their brain fed, I was the hero. But when I just wanted to be there, a lot of people went away. When I just wanted to, can't we just be? Do I have to be the leader that feeds you constantly? Or can't we just be? Can't we just have relationship? Nobody really, not a lot of people wanted that. It wasn't feeding those chemicals anymore, those codependent chemicals. And so a lot of people disappeared from our life. It took me some time to get through that. It was painful. And part of that pain was my own chemical need in some of those days to draw those types of people, to be needed, to be seen, where maybe I was unseen, and maybe I wasn't good enough in my own eyes. So there was chemicals being fed from that direction as well that had to stop being fed, stop being fed, right? And so I really believe that, for me, let's just hang out, man. Let's just be there. We don't have to say a lot. We don't have to do a lot. We don't have to prove anything. We don't have, just to be together, just to hang around. I miss that. I'm feeling pretty isolated where I'm at. I don't really have I have tons of friends online. I have tons of acquaintances, but I don't have anybody really but my wife to talk to. I have a couple of people that I can unload on, but I don't want to unload too much, because I know how that feels when people call you, the only thing they want to do is unload. And then you kind of wonder, well, okay, well, thank you for using me as your prostitute. But, I really want a real relationship. I know you got your chemical fix, and now you feel like you can conquer the world. And a week from now, you're going to be back with your tail between your legs, needing another chemical fix. And I've dealt with that, and I've walked through that, and I know I got several on here. Like Danielle says, let's watch a movie and break dance. That's the way to do it. And yes, you do need to take a break, get away, go do something fun. That also changes the chemicals. But I do believe that, what we need to allow authenticity to come into our love, into everything we are sincere about, but still dogmatic or entrenched in or chemically addicted to. We need to replace with authenticity and just let authenticity come in and vibrate higher and bring us to a place to where we can now apply consciousness. See, having all this love, having all this information, but having all of this fakery within ourselves where we won't face ourselves and we're still hungering chemically to feel this instead of that. All of that right there is never going to allow consciousness to be applied. You'll never be able to apply it. The only way to apply it is through authenticity. So let's be honest with each other. If I am offensive to you, feel free to tell me. Say, hey man, what you said has really offended me, and I'll be there to help you. Face yourself in that. And I'm sure, I'm sure others will come and tell me when I'm offended. We all got the same stuff. And like you just said, Serena, I'm going to put a few of these up here comments because they're really good. People support their comfort paradigms. So true. We need to understand that you can't put a lot of this new stuff in the old paradigm. You got to let go of your old paradigm. And a lot of our old paradigms are habit-based, chemically based, emotionally based, and that's why we can't escape them. Okay. Let's see. I like what you said, Mindy. Mindy, you're amazing. We just love you. I was thinking of you the other day, by the way, Mindy, and the memories and the times in Washington when we saw you, and just wonderful times. And I've been feeling for you, Mindy. If I could just give you a word, a reading. I don't like using the old terminology of prophetic anymore. Seems too prosthetic or pathetic. But I wanted to say to you, Mindy, that all your labor has not been in vain, in the areas of what you've been walking through to love yourself and to better yourself. And in some areas where you take 2 steps forward and it feels like, or take a step forward and 2 steps back. You're not going backwards at all. Every time you take a step forward, you're actually bringing to light what needs to be transmuted. So that's not going backwards. You're actually going forwards, more steps than you think in your process and progress. And I just want to say that I'm proud of you, and that who you are, the collective is proud of you, because you bettering yourself in certain areas and picking yourself up and doing the shadow work, and even taking care of your physical side is actually shifting the entire collective to do the same. You're affecting the entire world without even knowing you're affecting it. So I just want to release that over you. You're a blessing and you're an example. So I just love you for that. And yes, Charlotte, maybe they are authentic. Maybe they are authentic helping me, and I think it's the other way around. It can definitely be the other way around if you are triggered. Remember, this all comes down to the fact if you're triggered. Now, let me just bring this up real quick. How can you know if you have a trigger? Because a lot of our triggers we're in denial of, right? It's wherever we won't face it. It's wherever we have an excuse for it. Okay, it's wherever we have a defense, wherever we have to over-explain ourselves, whether it's to ourselves to figure it out or to others to get them to understand us, is where we're lying to ourselves. Okay. Usually, when you're truly being authentic, the first thing you do when you see something around you that isn't, is to look at yourself. And that should be an automatic thing, is, oh, let me see if that's a mere reflection of something that needs to be aligned in me. And when it doesn't happen, and yet you're still okay with you, and you're not offended at the person that's projecting, you can realize that, oh, my authenticity is triggering them. And so now what you can do is simply just be the real you, so that they can be the real them, and hopefully not cave in and be unauthentic just to be accepted by them, or because you feel you're not loving them. See, love is about to become authentic, and when it does, we're not going to have this mamsy-pamsy tiptoeing on each other's mindsets. Do you know what remember that term, walking on eggshells? Well, eggshells are hatched lies. They were once eggs of people protecting the lies they believed. And so they hatch all over, they expose themselves, and what do? We respond by, we don't want to rock the boat. We want to keep that person moving in the momentum of those lies. And all we're doing is that's what we're doing, is we're feeding those lies. We're helping to destroy that person's life. And if we can see it that way, it doesn't mean we're there to save them neither. We're just there to be our authentic self and to mirror the truth. And sometimes mirroring the truth is not talking. Sometimes it's just simply being, and being unoffended. It's just simply being. Like, yeah, no matter what you say, man, it's okay. I see what's going on. I love you. I'm there for you. Or I need to take a step back. You need some time of solitude to work these things out, because you're so codependent that you're using me to escape yourself. So I'm going to take a step back. Give me a call in a month and let me know how you're doing. You see what I'm saying? So you're positively working this out with people, which is you positively working it out with yourself, right? You know? Oh, Mindy, you're amazing. I got to put this up there. I don't know if can you all see all that? One of my most powerful times was when Shauna came up and just hugged me. It was so amazing. It's like we melted into each other, no words, but we were connecting in love. Mindy, that is amazing. Can I just say that from another perspective, that Shauna was actually you as your higher self coming to you and your current self to lift you up and bring you into everything you're currently encountering right now. That for you to bring that up, that memory pieces it together into your current journey of everything that you're experiencing as wholeness, was you coming to you in the form of what you thought was another. Because at that time we were all still in the lie of separation, in a sense, seeing each other as separate. And again, there's nothing wrong with experiencing the matrix from that place. It's only when our identity is trapped in it, right? Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. And then Tim and Maria, which is really, well, we'll just say Tim and Maria, but I know who you are. So if every person who manifests in our lives is a version of us to know ourselves, that shows me the importance of being present, because we are always speaking to ourselves through the collective. Signs everywhere are signs. I have to say yes, definitely on that, because here's the thing. We only disregard others when we've disregarded ourselves. We are only codependent with others where we're codependent with our own chemical addiction. We only love others where we have learned to love ourselves. So when you can take everybody as you, at least in certain areas of life, then you're going to have a lot more compassion. You're going to be a lot more attentive, especially if you have a healthy view of yourself, of going within. Not this view of, oh, I need to heal myself, I need to do shadow work. Remember, there's an extreme view out of the ego-driven to ascend, to do shadow work, to be spiritual. And you know what? That is also at a chemical level. It is releasing chemicals to make you feel like you're a hero, but deep down you believe you're a villain, you're a victim, and you're not good enough. And from that state, guess what you're going to do? You're going to return to your vomit. You're going to return to religion. You're going to return to Jesus as Lord. I just realized, I thought I was done with that, but God is back in my life. Jesus is back. Why is Jesus back? Well, because I didn't get to the chemical level. See, I might have got to a intellectual side of what I was believing and feeling, but I didn't want to experience it again. So I tried to work it out at an information level, and I stacked it in my mind, and I did a lot of research and study, and intellectually, I know that the Bible isn't what it is. I know the propaganda. I know all that. So yes, I'm leaving Christianity, but guess what? You'll be back because you didn't have an actual experience of truth. You just simply evaluated facts. It did not affect your chemical addiction. And so eventually that the body's going to rise up going, where's my chemicals? Where's my dope? I need some indoctrination, some dogma to keep me going in this area. And so you will end up returning to your vomit in that area. I've already seen plenty online doing it. Okay. So here's the thing. You'll return until you don't need to anymore. So don't even try to evaluate that. I'm just stating the fact that people are going to go back and forth until they realize, oh, there's something going on at a chemical level that I've been lying to myself and masking over and giving all these reasons. Well, I just love to love people. So I like to go and give people this and give people that. And at the end of the month, I need prayers because I'm broke and I have no money because I gave it all to everybody because God told me to. No, God didn't tell you to give nothing. The chemical addiction in you told you to give, because when you give, you feel good. And you don't have to face this belief over here that you're not good enough and that nobody loves you. So now you go to the extreme, and now you're broke, and now you can't pay your bills because you were trying to get people to love you, and you were trying to get that chemical reaction. Do you see how that works? Okay. We're coming up out of that. We're coming into the place of honesty. We're not going to use shame we're not going to protect our shame by building up another without facing ourselves. Okay. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to use these emotions we thought were negative. We're going to sit with them as friends. We're going to sit with them as friends, and we're going to say, okay, what are you really here for? Higher self says you're here to show me where I'm not being my true self, and there's a consequence, so I'll get back on track. But my avatar, ego self, is saying, oh, I am these things. I'm worthless. I am what I feel. I am what I think. There's no way out. And the only way to get out is to pretend to be something else. So I got to pretend so I can feel this and not have to feel that. Make sense? So that's pretty much the message I wanted to bring today. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but give you a few announcements before I go. The shift training, the new shift training is available for free for those who subscribe for at least 3 months. Come on, guys, $14.99 a month. If you subscribe for at least 3 months, you get that course for free. and I'm about halfway through it right now in the Patreon members area, our basic subscription for $14.99. One thing that I'm kind of concerned of is I'm seeing people join, watch everything, listen to everything, and then get out of there, you know, a month later because they don't want to pay $14.99 a month. Okay. I mean, I guess if that's what you want to do, but you're robbing yourself. Our platform is not an information-based platform, even though there's information. What we want to do is we want you to be in there and actually learn consciousness through interaction, through relationship. And so we're doing Zoom calls once a month right now. And the reason I haven't upped it more than that is because out of, you know, I want to say we have 21 or 22 paid subscribers and 40 something free subscribers. Free ones get basically everything that Facebook gets. And the paid subscribers get all the stuff that nobody else gets, about 10 times more. But I do notice that people will subscribe for a month or two and then leave and become a free subscriber. And I don't think you're understanding that you're trying to get information. Again, you're trying to feed a chemical. Just come in and sit and be a part, and let's build some relationship. Let's get a voice together. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I've never really been into just, here's a surface thing for you, give me your money. It's just never been a thing for me. What I'd rather do is have a paid subscription so that I can come to you more often, and let's build relationship, and let's build community, and let's hear each other's hearts, and let's receive each other's experience. Because without the interaction together, we're not getting every side of every experience, which is what we came here to get. We're not seeing every part of ourselves to embrace ourselves. So we really need that. Okay. So if you are interested in getting your voice back, learning spiritual language, and being able to pick up the parts of you that were destroyed in deconstruction and all of that, and just knowing that you have family and community and equality, come on over and subscribe. Okay, we're going to be adding a lot more. The more people get active, the more we will do activation videos together. We're also getting ready. I'm getting ready to start a whole training on how to channel from my experience, which I believe is an easier way of taking out all the filler of a lot of the religious do's and don'ts you got to do to be able to channel. So I'm going to start teaching on that once I finish on the shift training, which is all about shadow work and going in and deprogramming the mind, and even being able to adjust chemical reactions. Okay. Love y'all. Please like and share. Check out our website. All the information is in the description. And let's get together more often. Let's hang out, and let's start to build consciousness through authenticity and loving each other authentically. We'll see you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.